I'm seeing angels in the crystals. So this ties in with these magnets. These are like stress balls and they're magnetized. So in relationship, there's a point, we come together, but then there's a point where there's a resistance and then the attraction. But the thing that really got me when I pulled these out of the drawer was that all this excess stuff was stuck to it. Magnets attract other objects, other people too. And sometimes it takes a bit of work to disengage and find your direction with these. For me, allowing the process of remembering how to be in love with somebody without closing off the heart, without projecting on them, without wanting anything from them, but being brave enough to be around them has been a long process, because the old me would have run and just found a way to get what I needed from somewhere else. But this time I chose to keep facing it. And it helps me to actually get to know them better without that in the way. So maybe you're feeling feeble, is what I'm hearing, like there is no hope. And maybe you're at a point where the hope is too painful. And that's okay. But if you cut yourself off to any kind of love, you're closing yourself off, you're closing your heart off. There's lots of bats going past. I really feel Persephone. For me, Persephone is coming out of the underworld because we're coming into spring. And there's Hecate, Hecate, however you pronounce her, being to definitely respect and be careful of, like any of them. But she was the one she's the psychopomp. She guides spirits in and out of the underworld. So she's helped Persephone as well. You need to look up the mythology if you don't understand what I'm talking about. So Persephone would travel in and out of the underworld for love after the initial catalyst part of the story. She would travel into the underworld to be with her husband, and then she would come out of the underworld for the love of her mother and for the love of the earthly creations, for the seasons 444. And the process of the inner alchemy, of the guiding the aspects of self out of the dark, is the greatest act of love. And it comes back to this story of loving somebody without needing them to love me back. Because as I am getting to know myself and to love myself and remembering who I am, they are getting to see that. And the blossoming, yes, the ever unfolding rose. And it occurred to me that it has occurred to me a few times, and in my darker times when my heart is closed off, I'm like, well, I haven't been rejected because I never showed myself, and that's protective. But when my heart is open, like, they never rejected me because I never showed myself. And if I am not for that person ever, it doesn't matter because they're leading me back to myself, which is the whole point of this incarnation. To be so far away from God and self, so far in the darkness, in hell. And to make the journey in and out of that darkness, in and out of the darkness, to eventually liberate every single aspect of ourselves. We will liberate every single soul on this planet eventually. What's happening within is what's happening without. So I'm looking at this selenite crystal and this angel. Yeah, and the angel's standing on top of the lion's head. In a previous reading, I said that the lion's crown is bursting open. There's the lions and the priestess. And I didn't feel like that was a very good thing, but I feel like these things can always represent something externally or internally, and usually both. So if the lion represents someone, then I think what they were doing created a explosion of the crown, which was not, that would have created some sort of tower moment. But eventually the angel shows itself. And I'm seeing a lady's head in profile now. I'm hearing, I'm one with all of my people. I'm hearing the guardian and the gate. I know there is a card, probably by Stephen Farmer, called The Garden and the Gate. But I don't think this is it. I think this is the guardian and the gate. We spend all this time climbing mountains. When there was a door to walk inside in the first place. We spend all this time climbing mountains when we were able to move the mountain in the first place. I'm hearing spaghettified. I'm getting images of string theory, but also I did a video a while back, I think I did, on going into the black hole. Like when we move from universe to universe, we go into the black hole from the universe that we're in, timeline we're in, whatever, and spaghettified, stretched out. All that information stretched out almost infinitely. And as we sucked through, we are put back together. And so the analogy with that was like gack or slime or chewing gum that's dirty, it's got rocks and dust and stuff in it. When you get stretched, all those rocks and things fall away. So the stretching of our consciousness is in aid of clearing out what we don't need anymore. And that's completely relevant to love. Because if we are behaving as anything other than our authentic true self, we can never, 11:11. Oh my God, you can't make this up. We can never attract our true partner. Anyone that we attract is always aligned with us in some way. There is joy and love in liberation. I know other people don't like it. And I know that we get attacked from all sides, from people that we don't expect it from. But there is no greater joy than being your true self. The ever unfolding rose, cracked open, is happening for you, not to you. If you're being stretched, 12:12, allow the process. There is always the other side, and it's never the end. There's no happily ever after. It's just you've been through one of your many stretchings. And enjoy it while you're there. Don't wait for the other foot to drop. I was taught to do that. I was taught to be hyper vigilant and waiting for the other foot to drop. Fuck it. Fuck it. I've lost so much of my life to anxiety, faith, prayer, loving self for all the mistakes we make. Yeah, now I'm hearing, live your life, be free. 13:13. Okay, Sparrow. I love you. Good night.